I'm your friendly new media Mothman, Zach the Mothman Daggy, and welcome back to another edition of the Midnight Spook Show, your online source for all the horror news, reviews, and interviews that you can scream at. And this edition of Midnight Spook Show is all about the film Paranormal Activity 2. Now, this is a direct sequel to last year's Paranormal Activity, which was a independently produced film, had a very small knit cast and crew, and didn't cost much of anything to make. It was very much a docu-horror film, so it was done through camcorders, their point of view, etc. And last year it really just stunned the nation, took off, and became an instant cult classic. Now, a year later, a sequel has been rushed to theaters, now has a big studio backing it, so is it any good? For starters, this is a film directed by Todd Williams. Now, this is a guy who did some smaller films like The Door on the Floor, along with The Adventures of Sebastian Cole. And usually at this point, I'd go ahead and tell you about the cast of the film. But honestly, if you go to IMDb, it lists only one person in the cast, which is inaccurate. There's an entire cast. And of course, the one person that lists in the cast, I can't tell you who that is, because that would be a spoiler. So, and that actually kind of goes into something a bit interesting with this film. And that is, the less you know about it, the better it is. You really need to go into it without knowing what to expect. Story-wise, I'll go ahead and review it for you, don't get me wrong. But bare bones, the story is about a family that brings home their newborn son, and just a year after doing that, odd paranormal activity starts to happen, and hijinks ensue. So, the thing about this film is that it's a lot like a... Well, let's put it this way. Paranormal Activity 1 made it because it was the underdog. It was just a handful of people making a film, spending their own money, not really a big studio production type film. You know, it was like the kid on the block building a lemonade stand, and everybody wants to support that kid, so it starts taking off and doing well. If down the street, the guy who's the head of a CEO, or the head CEO of a company, decides to put out a lemonade stand, it's not that impressive. And that's what's going on with this film. It's now got the big studio backing behind it, and you can feel it. And so, a big studio trying to do a smaller thing, instead of a small group of individuals trying to do a big thing, you kind of see what I'm saying there? It's not that impressive. Story-wise for the film, it feels a bit manic at times. The first half of this movie is like watching paint dry. It is boring. There's a lot of very staged scenes of the family trying to show how well they get along. Literally, there's a scene where the mother of the family is talking about her sister and saying, "I have the best sister in the world," and all that. Nobody does that. It's just, it comes off very staged, and it just does not work. What does work in the film, though, is the creepy moments. The paranormal activity moments. Those moments in the film, I think, surpass the original. They are extremely creepy. And a lot of them, there are some over-the-top scares, with stuff flying around and everything. But it's the more subtle ones that really strike home. There's a scene in particular, this isn't really a spoiler, where the younger daughter is investigating some strange sounds she heard. She comes downstairs. Her little brother's choo-choo train toy that plays music goes off and kind of rolls forward. And she just kind of thinks it's a little odd, ignores it, goes on to another room and everything. The next thing you know, she's like 2 rooms over. She hears the same noise, turns around, the train's followed her from 2 rooms over. And so it's like that kind of, really kind of creepy cinema that works. I mean, I enjoy the originality of the original Paranormal Activity. This film, I think, honestly would have been a better movie if it wasn't a sequel to Paranormal Activity. There's a lot of stuff, storyline-wise, from the original, like the lore they're setting up from the original, that's brought into this one, and it feels like it's almost shoved in. I somewhat wonder if this was actually another movie on Paramount or whatever studio's shelves, and then they decide, we gotta rush a sequel to Paranormal Activity. Let's take this one out and modify it. And so that's kind of the impression I get from it. I think it is a legitimately scary movie, exciting movie in the last half, but I think that bringing it into the realm of Paranormal Activity makes it a lesser film. Another example of why I think that is, there's scenes where creepy stuff happens, but since we're seeing this all from like surveillance footage, where it gets the entire room, it's when the creepy stuff happens, it's a bit like playing Where's Waldo. Something's happening, it's like, okay, it's on the screen somewhere. In the corner, something's spinning. Yeah, ooh, creepy. And that's what it is. And I think this could have been a really, like, modern-day version of Poltergeist if it was done right, and I don't think it was. In the end, I do think it was an enjoyable movie. I think if you wanted to watch a good Halloween movie this year in theaters, check it out. You have to get past the first 45 minutes of the thing to get into it, but after that, the last half is a decent movie. A lot of really legitimately, I can't stress enough, awesome, creepy moments, but it could have been a lot better. So that's my view on it. Of course, you can check out a trailer for Paranormal Activity 2 on my site over at spookshow.tv. And until next time, I'm your friendly new media mouse man, advising them when watching great horror films, be sure to turn it up and turn out the lights. Cheers.
It's been a bad day. Please don't take a picture. It's been a bad day. Please. It's been a bad day. Please don't take a picture. It's been a bad day. Please.
This episode of Midnight Spook Show is made possible thanks to Buy Costumes. Looking for costumes or accessories to celebrate your favorite holiday or convention? Then look no further than Buy Costumes. Buy Costumes offers a huge selection of costumes ranging from scary, cute, or other. And you can save 12% off of your next order simply by going over to buycostumes.com/mothpod. And yes, indeed, Midnight Spook Show is proud to be a paid affiliate of Buy Costumes.